Hello, What Culture? It's me, Simon Miller, the man who brings you the ups and downs, which is basically a review format where we go through Raw, we go through SmackDown, and we go through other WWE events, and we go through it with rage. And when we're angry, we give it a down, and when we're happy, we give it an up. So that's what we're going to do right now. That's what we're going to do right now. Raw is over. It's done. It's in the books. If you liked it, you didn't like it, there is nothing WWE can do to change that. So let's stop our ranting, let's stop our raving, and let's give last night's Raw some ups, and then let's give it some downs. Raw didn't start with somebody coming to the ring and just talking for a while. I was so surprised, I almost keeled over. Let's get it up. It was a welcome change of pace, to be honest, and instead we got two promos, one from Bray Wyatt and one from Roman Reigns, and they got to talk directly into the camera, much like I'm talking directly into the camera now, and wrestlers never do that. Now, they weren't the best promos in the world, but I don't care, because I was so happy we had a change of format. I was doing backflips. Obviously not true. I die if I try to backflip, but you take my point. And from there, we went right into the Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, so it all tied in. And again, it wasn't the greatest match in the world, but it was decent, it was okay, it's getting it up. Reigns and Wyatt do work very well together, and during this match, we figured out the way to get Bray Wyatt out of his slump. Just put him in a feud with Roman Reigns. Everyone booed Roman. At one point there was like a Let's Go Bray chant or whatever it was. And there you go. Bray Wyatt's been saved just because everybody hates Roman Reigns. Bray unfortunately did the whole anyone but you Roman, which didn't make sense back then and it doesn't make sense now. However, there was a very interesting note on commentary where the commentators insinuated that since like February last year, Bray Wyatt hasn't really been on fire that much, so hopefully the rehab project is finally coming. Either way, he lost here, because of course he lost. He got hit by a spear. Roman's going to the Elimination Chamber, but this was an alright start for Raw for me because it was different. I think at this stage, you could just, I don't know, have a gorilla come down, just run around the ring a few times, and it would be so different, I'd be alright with it, and I'd give that an up too. And then Moke and Matt Hardy turned up after the match, and he gave Bray Wyatt a twist of fate, so let's just ram that character into the ground. It's gonna get up. We then cut to a backstage promo between Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins, where Seth Rollins was telling Jason Jordan, listen pal, we need to forget about everything else this evening and we've got to win our tag team titles back because this could be our last shot. You know what? I quite like all this story. I quite like where it's going. It's getting it up. WWE are actually relying on the slow build here, and you know that eventually Jordan is going to go heel, or maybe, I mean, there's stuff to do with injuries that we'll get into later, but this works. I mean, Rollins versus Jordan, as I said last week, is not the best Mania match in the world, but if you're going to do it like this. Slow paced, makes sense, slowly getting me intrigued. 2 thumbs up. And the third one, if I ever grow a third thumb. It's a down now, though, as we did have Finn Balor and Carl Anderson going against the Revival. And the Revival lost. Again, down. I just don't understand the point of this feud, and it's classic 50-50 WWE booking. I mean, the club won a few weeks ago, then the Revival won, now the club are winning again, even though it's a different pairing. Where are we going from this? What do we do now? Why do they even hate each other to begin with? And it's not helping both teams. Both of them just feel completely lost in the shuffle at the moment. It was a cool match, and Balor picked up the pin after he hit the coup de grace, but much like everything on the Raw tag team title scene, I just feel like I'm seeing the same bouts over and over again. You could say, as we're in February, it's like Groundhog Day. We then had a long segment between Bayley and Sasha Banks, but you know what? I'm going to give it an up because once again, WWE have started to tease that maybe Sasha Banks is going to go heel. But I tell you this, backstage higher-ups in Stamford, Connecticut, if you don't pull the trigger this time, all of this is going to get a future down. I've never given a future down out before, and I've done it here, so you best not get one of those. And it was the same tease that we have seen for ages, where Banks was being a bit mean to Bayley, and she was mostly wound up because she wasn't able to beat Asuka last week, and Bayley was fighting Asuka this week, and Bayley was like, I'm gonna win. Sasha Banks was like, no you're not, you're rubbish. And Bayley like, well I can beat you, if I can beat you I can beat her, and so on and so forth. It works as long as Banks does go heel, because Bayley can play a really good babyface and Sasha is a good bad guy, but now something needs to happen. You can't just have more hints and they're not doing anything with it, because I'll get bored. So come on people, let's get this done. I'm going to be horrible now as well. Rarely admit that, but right now I'm going to be horrible because then we had all our 205 Live stuff and it was utterly pointless. Down. The match was fine and it saw Drew Gulak and Tony Nese take on Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, but it was just here. I mean, it was literally just here because someone had to tick a box and we had to send the cruiserweights out just to roll around for a while. They always feel like filler, and surely we get a little bit of story and give us a little bit of impetus to watch these and then go tune into 205 Live. because I thought that was the point. I enjoyed Drake Maverick / Rockstar Spud on commentary, but ultimately this went absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. Oh, and Alexander hit Gulak with a lumbar check for the win. Angle was out next to discuss the Women's Elimination Chamber match, and while I was confused by the decision, I think this is leading somewhere. Up. Firstly, in the chamber itself, it's going to be, give me a minute, this may take a while, it's going to be Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Sonya Deville, Mickie James, and somebody else. Whereas Nia Jax, however, well, she's going to be taking on Asuka in a singles match. And if Jax wins that single match, she will then be put into the WrestleMania main event, meaning that will be a triple threat between Nia Jax, Asuka, and whoever the Raw Women's Champion is at the time, or maybe the SmackDown's Women's Champion. Asuka never really made that decision, I don't think, so who knows, but interesting. All of this also had a nice bit where Alexa Bliss did come out and she called Kurt Angle a sexist and said he'd never make Brock Lesnar do this, and Kurt Angle was like, yeah, but Brock Lesnar defends his title. When do you ever defend your title? And to be fair, Kurt Angle, that's on you. You're the GM. Make her defend her title. You know, you can do that. But all of that worked, nice little bit. Bliss came across like a good heel. Cool. Then we had a John Cena promo about his match later on with Elias and Braun Strowman about who would be the last person that got to enter the Elimination Chamber when the match rolls around. And during all this, Corey Graves basically called out Booker T. He said to Jonathan Coachman he better watch what he says, otherwise he may be demoted back down to local radio. And that is definitely a shot at the former commentator himself. And if you don't know about their heat, just go on the internet. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? Who knows? It's an up. Then Asuka beat Bayley by making her tap out. That's an up as well. I still would rather see the undefeated one just run through opponents at this point. And let's face it, has WWE ever protected Bayley? No. So we could have done this here. However, it was a good back and forth. I enjoyed the match. And yeah, eventually Asuka locked in that submission and Bayley tapped out like a loser. After the match, Bayley did seem a little bit annoyed, but she still shook Asuka's hand, and yes, that's me shaking my own hand, and we planted seeds here. We planted seeds, and as you know, I love it when we plant seeds. Tasty damn seeds. Miz was out next, and he cut such a damn good promo, it made me happy. Up. He went on about how already in 2018 he's beat Roman Reigns twice, that the Super Bowl winners, the Philadelphia Eagles, were watching Miz promos as motivation before they went on to win, and that come WrestleMania, he will not only be the IC champion, but he'll win the Elimination Chamber, beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship just before his own kid is born. And then he beat Apollo Crews to get in that chamber. Up. Solid bout, nothing special, but the Miz did win with the skull-crushing finale. You know what? I hope he does win the Elimination Chamber, and I hope he does beat Brock Lesnar for the title. That's how much I like the Miz right now. Go Miz! It's a down now though, and it's not because of the specific angle we saw here, just because I'm starting to worry about how messed up injury-wise Jason Jordan really is. So yeah, down. There's been whispers that his neck is so bad he's actually starting to lose grip strength, and that's why here we did have a story where he told Seth Rollins, like, I can't be your tag team partner tonight, so I was doing neck bridges, and now my neck is screwed. So I'm worried it could be a serious injury, and obviously Jason Jordan, if it is true, we hope you get well soon. It's a hilarious up though, because then Kurt Angle was like, well Seth, you need a new tag team partner, and who turned up to be his tag team partner? That's right, it was Roman Reigns, and the crowd was so excited that Reigns was going to be in another match this evening. That's a lie. No, they weren't. They hated it, but this was hilarious, like I say, so it's getting it up. And the tag match between those two and the Bar was actually alright, so that's getting it up as well. And also, Jason Jordan did get involved, so maybe I'm being worked like some kind of loser. He basically came out to help the two, but eventually got them DQ'd because the Bar tried to bail from the match, and that annoyed Jason Jordan, so he stopped them. Then he got so mad, he punched him in the face. So the ref saw that and went, well, yeah, I'm DQing this team now, and the Bar won. As you can imagine, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, they weren't happy at all. Again, though, it was a good match, but please, for the love of everything, sooner rather than later, we have to separate all these people. I cannot see this bout again. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I may kill myself. All this screaming did get worse when we went backstage as well, because Seth was getting right in Jason Jordan's face, like, what were you doing out there? And then Kurt Angle turned up, and he also told off his fake son. And this was a little bit embarrassing, because it was like some kid getting grounded by his father. He even said to Jason Jordan, maybe you need to just go home and think about what you've done. Didn't say that last bit. I've added it in there, but sheesh, this is a down. Then Nia beat up a jobber in a squash match. Up. And then she cut an okay promo, however she ruined it by using the go home line, you're no longer going to be the Empress of tomorrow, you'll be the Empress of yesterday. That sucked, it's a down. Then we had a bizarre match between Deville and James. The down as well. First, Mickie won with a roll-up out of nowhere, so screw you, Absolution. You're done. And then Alexa Bliss came out to save Mickie James, which makes no sense. James was shocked, of course, because again, this made no sense, and also, in the post-match beatdown that absolution was given to James, Paige got involved. So maybe that's a good sign, maybe not, I don't know. Main event time though, and it was indeed Braun Strowman taking on Elias, taking on John Cena, and again, the winner would be the last person to come out of their pod in the Elimination Chamber match, and while I enjoyed it, I thought a lot here was mad, just getting it down. Now, Elias won after he pinned John Cena, and when I say those words to you, it sounds like a big deal. Elias pinned John Cena, and John Cena is still the biggest star in the company. The problem is though, A, there was no build to this, so it didn't help Elias at all, and B, the way this all went down, once more, it didn't help Elias at all. Because what basically happened was, after Elias and Cena had teamed up to take Strowman out, including an AA onto the ring steps, Strowman got mad, as he does, he power slammed John Cena, he then went to power slam Elias, Elias pushed him out of the ring, and he pinned John Cena. That didn't do anything for Elias. Elias didn't beat John Cena, he used Braun's big power move and just took advantage of it. So ultimately, when all is said and done, all we did was throw away a loss on John Cena, and Braun Strowman was the guy that came out looking strong. So why did we need to do this? It was a waste. I know I'm picking holes in this and being a bit sensitive, but beating John Cena is still considered a big deal. So why don't we try and treat that as a big deal instead of one of these schmozzes? Obviously Raw couldn't end like that. Braun got mad once again and he power slammed everyone, and I did enjoy that. And then he did celebrate like he was Hulk Hogan from 1988. And look, it is cool that Elias is going to be the last dude in the chamber. I'm sure they can work something in there. However, I think we could have done this a bit better. And there's Raw smashed into your face, wrapped up in a little box, and then thrown onto YouTube. And I thought, actually, WWE did a good job in progressing a lot of stories here, but there were still some decisions I personally wouldn't have made. And the worst bit, and I mean this, was still Nia Jax saying Asuka she's going to be the Empress of yesterday. That is something a 12-year-old would come up with. Now don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's Raw. Like, share and subscribe. Don't know what that was. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and please follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon Miller. This was WhatCulture's Ups and Downs series, and we'll be back tomorrow when we up those SmackDown downs.
So, thanks for watching. Please feel free to click on any of these things around my head, or something terrible might happen to the dog. Too sweet me, bro. Traitor. Traitor.